Golf's Mr. Nice Guy, Tony Finau, may not have been too lucky with stacking up a lot of winnings in the game he loves so much, but he remains a fighter. After coming from a neighborhood where golf wasn't seen as a real sport, Tony has made a lot of improvements since then. With millions of dollars to his name, there's no doubt that Tony has a lot going good for him. Will he finally win a major soon? That's possible, as he's having one of his best performances yet. Before that happens, let's keep you up to speed with everything you need to know about this Samoan golfer. Welcome to Golf Links. Don't forget to subscribe to this channel to get notifications on new video drops. Born as Milton Pua Tony Finau on the 14th of September 1989, the 32-year-old PGA star was the first of the Samoan descent to ever venture into the world of golf. So Tony Finau grew up in a family that knew nothing about golf, which definitely made things a lot more complicated. While his father, Kalepi Finau, was a man of all types of sports, golf wasn't one of them. So what was the go-to sport in Salt Lake City? That title goes to football. The locals would rather spend an entire day kicking a ball around, and they were really good at it too. Therefore, the odds didn't seem to favor an adventurous Tony, who started dreaming of becoming a golfer ever since he watched 21-year-old Tiger Woods produce a masterclass at the Masters. Despite his interests, Tony's father barely earned enough to keep up with the basic needs of his family. Therefore, his ambition became even more difficult to achieve, as there was no one around to teach the young man the basics of the game. However, one person was able to turn things around: Tony Finau's mother, Ravina Finau. She made it her duty to persuade Kalepi Finau to do whatever possible to keep Tony Finau and his much more talented brother, Gipper Finau, busy. Their neighborhood hosted various violent gangs and several dangerous activities that would attract the younger boys. Being an intelligent man, Kalepi Finau swung into action. He purchased the cheapest available clubs, gathered golf balls as much as he could get his hands on, and encouraged his kids to play as often as possible. It didn't take long for Tony to make a name for himself in the neighborhood as the golf kid. Of course, everyone was surprised to see him go his path, given that they were much more interested in another sport. The young golfer finally enrolled in high school, but it didn't have a golf team. However, the good news was that the school considered golf as a part of its sports programs, so Tony's arrival encouraged them to take putting a team together seriously. Before long, the school achieved a historic feat. The West High School of Salt Lake City won its first ever golf championship, a first in 114 years in the community. A bigger shocker is that their coach had never played golf up until that moment. Tony Finau proceeded to win the Utah State Amateur at 16. He was offered a scholarship to play golf at Stanford, but rejected the offer for a more lucrative one. A wealthy local businessman had offered to give up $50,000 to get him on the Las Vegas tournament. With about $2 million on offer for the overall winner, Tony Finau hopped on the deal and set off for Las Vegas. Luckily, the golfer didn't disappoint his sponsor. He made it to the final round, earned a Callaway sponsorship deal, and became $100,000 richer for his efforts. Tony Finau put in a lot of hard work to get through the qualifying rounds of the PGA Tour. From 2007 to 2011, the athletic golfer found it extremely difficult to make it to the second round. However, while still working his way towards making a name for himself in the golfing world, Tony experienced an unforgettable tragedy. His mother was involved in a fatal car accident while returning home from a wedding. The shock of the news had Tony hospitalized, and he eventually developed an ulcer. For more than 5 weeks, he couldn't walk, and swinging a golf club was definitely out of the question. It took a while for Tony to get back on his feet, encouraged by the thought that his mother would want him to keep on pushing. In 2013, when Tony was 23 years old, he finally made it through the qualifying rounds. His victory at the Stonebreak Classic meant that he would qualify for the 2014-15 season of the PGA Tour. In his rookie season, Tony Finau made the top 10 global rankings 5 times, and that meant about $2.1 million earned from his exploits. In 2016, after only 28 starts, the amazing golfer was able to rake in $1.8 million and also secured his victory on the PGA Tour at the Puerto Rico Open. Tony Finau's run to the finals of the FedEx Cup meant that he would secure qualification for all 2018 majors. In 2018, Tony Finau became the subject of taunts for youthful exuberance. He celebrated his breathtaking win at the par 3 competition of the Augusta National Golf Club by running backwards forwards to a fairway. It was all cheers and laughs for onlookers at first until something went horribly wrong. Tony snapped his ankle and looked like he was in severe pain. Somehow, he miraculously cracked it back into place and went on to compete in the round before seeking further treatment. Many thought he wouldn't even make it to the Masters, but a little ankle breaker wasn't enough to keep him away. Tony Finau shocked the world by putting up a brilliant performance that shot him into the top 10 rankings in the tournament, and that alone earned him a spot at the Masters. At the 2018 Masters, Tony Finau finished in 10th place despite the nasty injury he sustained before the event. At the US Open, he rounded off with an impressive 5th place. His finish at the US Open turned out to be his highest finish in any major tournament. By the end of the 2018 PGA Tour, Tony Finau capped off an incredible outing by getting ranked in the 6th spot in the FedEx Cup. He also finished second at both the Northern Trust and Safeway Open. To round off a good season, he took home an astonishing $5.6 million. The following season didn't start on a sour note either. Although Tony Finau did lose against Xander Schauffele in a playoff, he still clinched over $1 million in prizes for finishing second. He made it into the final group of the Masters tournament in April 2019 alongside Tiger Woods and Francesco Molinari. Of course, the golfer had an impressive game by finishing tied at 5th. Most of the 2020 season didn't go as planned for Tony Finau. Despite being part of the US team that won the 2019 President's Cup, Tony Finau lost the Waste Management Phoenix Open to a more determined Webb Simpson in February 2020. In July of the same year, Tony Finau had a lot of spectators cheering and rejoicing when he held down a 4-stroke lead in the 3rd round of the Memorial Tournament. Still, just like most golfers who often get nervous after a reasonable charge, Tony Finau faltered along the line. In the end, he finished 8th in the tournament and was tied for the 3rd spot at the 3M Open. This not-so-exciting run meant Tony Finau would set a heartbreaking record of finishing in the top 10 for 30 PGA Tour stops without securing a significant win. What about the 2021 PGA Tour season? For 5 weeks into the new year of 2021, Tony Finau found himself in the top 4 of all the competitions he participated in. At the Farmers Insurance Open, he was unlucky to miss out in the first place so narrowly, so he ended the competition in the 2nd spot, the same as the Genesis Invitational, where he was defeated in a playoff to Max Homa. Tony Finau also finished 2nd on the European Tour at the Saudi International. However, he won the 2021 Northern Trust this time by defeating Cameron Smith. In the same year, September, Tony Finau was on the US team that won the 2021 Ryder Cup in Wisconsin. However, he lost to Ian Poulter in a singles match. Aside from Tony Finau's golf exploits, you'll find it interesting to know that he was once the 2nd most likable guy on the PGA Tour. He did show how much of a nice guy he was when he mistakenly had his drive hit a female spectator while on tour. Tony Finau was curious enough to find out about the girl and soon showed up in front of her parents' home with a greeting card, lots of flowers, and chocolate. His father later stated that his late wife was responsible for the excellent adult his kids grew up to become. We also believe she would have been proud of her son too. Nevertheless, the friendly guy tag didn't make Tony Finau escape his fair share of controversy. In 2020, he was sued for $16 million by his former business partner, Molinai Hola. The businessman claimed that he was responsible for the funding of the prolific golfer's career at the early stage of his golf life. Molinai Hola insisted that he had spent more than $500,000 over Tony Finau. He also struck a deal with Tony Finau's parents that included getting 20% of whatever Tony Finau earns from his winnings. However, the outcome of this lawsuit was never made public, and we don't know whether it was settled out of court or not. Looks like they made the decision to keep it under wraps as much as possible. So, how much did Tony earn that was enough to have him sued by a former business partner? This golfer's